Guys, this over here is the actual video, the time that Pepsi just promised to give away a Harrier jet. That's one I referred to yesterday. It is a very interesting story. I would recommend you going and just having a look at it. Yeah, so if it's from the Today I Found Out channel on YouTube, well, this is one of the things one of the things that did pop up on my suggestions list, and I watched it and I thought it was very funny. Particularly because it's all the ways people try and get out of stuff that they try and go and get out of going and having to pay and make up on these promises, and particularly when loyalty goes wrong. I personally thought that was an excellent way of just why you shouldn't do that. So anyway, that's available over here. If you do want the actual website here, I can go and forward that to you a bit later. But now on swiftly back to iVend. And there are some things that we can actually go, that we are going to go and have a look at today in iVend itself. This over here today is dedicated to reporting the CKP, iVend Mobile, as well as the configuration manager for iVend. Now this is this we've sort of been building up to, particularly with the way everything's been set up. So for this, let me just come over here. There we go. Okay, so I'm just going to go across, and we're going to go, first off, we're going to have a look at the reporting side, because the reporting side is actually one of the most important things, obviously, in any system. First things first. Okay, I'm going to just run quickly through the label reports, and I'm going to run through the label printing as well. The first thing that we've got over here, you obviously have to come down to this section, reports. Yay. Then there is actually the all of the report builders. Then the rest of the reports over here. Please remember, you can go and design and adjust any of these reports, and I will show you how to do that in a minute. So you can go and then make sure these look all nice and have got the logo and the right font and all the rest of the other things that people go a bit nuts for. So the first thing that we have up here is the create label report. I have been through this before. I have mentioned it in one of the previous sessions, but once again, I'll just go through it properly this time. This over here is, well, and of course it would be this moment that it decides that, oh no, it's encountered an error, application will now close. Wonderful. Okay, well, I've got a question over there. Is there a place where we can access the course outline? It's over here. Okay, this should have been sent through to you guys. If it has not been sent through to you guys, it is slightly off. It says that it starts at 9 a.m. Obviously, it's not 9 a.m., it's 10 a.m., it's 9 a.m. Nigeria time. I seem to remember it's more like at 11 o'clock on Kenya time, because we work in the wonderful world of time zones. So here you go, guys. Actually, is there drag and drop a file? Okay, where did I save this? And I can maybe share it with you. In my City Access folder. Yay. Okay, so let's go there, City Access, and this is, does everyone want this, just out of interest? Hands up who wants this. And instantly the hands fly up. Okay, Willem and a couple of others. Okay, all right, so I'm going to go share this with you. Let's let me know if this goes and actually works. I believe it's this one. I'm going to drag and drop a file over there, and yeah, hopefully that will be. We apologize, an error has occurred. Please try again. Yeah, that seems to be my day today. Okay, let's go try that one again. And yeah, it doesn't really seem to go like that. Okay, guys, mail me. I'll mail it back to you. Okay, and one more question. Okay, from Jean-Paul, which hardware allows us to print the item label once created? Guys, once again, I refer you through to the hardware and software specification guide. It should be listed over here. Guys, I'm just going to put your hands down for the moment. It will be listed over here. You should go and see, there should be label printers somewhere around here, where it goes and actually lists which ones we have tested it with. no, that's the offline point of sale one right there. It is here somewhere. But we have tested it. Normally it's the zebra label printers. I know that that's the one that we've done. If it's not listed here, then yes, I will go and let me know, and I will get back to you, and I will tell you exactly which ones. But they all perform to a fairly specific guideline. And just while we're waiting for my management console to come up, there is actually one other thing I do want to go show you that you do need to set up. And that is if, it's over here in my task tray. It's this little icon. It's the iVend config manager. Now you go to access this, you go start and iVend config manager. This should actually run as a, it should actually go run as administrator, at least the first time you do it. So it goes and it receives everything in. Okay, and then okay, so the important thing to go do with that is that once you run it, it'll go and appear here in the system tray. This appears in every system. It appears in your system tray for every time you go, for everything you load up. It doesn't matter whether you just load up the point of sale or whether you just load up the, or if you just load up the management console. In fact, if you remember back on my slides over here, I went and I showed you that one of the checkboxes for when you're doing the install is just services. Then that will also go and just install this. But once again, you don't have to check services on the install. If you install any of these things, then it will go and install this configuration manager. And it's very important because the configuration manager is where we go and actually set up how iVend goes and connects through. So which databases it connects through to, how the services work, and all the rest of it. Let me actually just go through each of these. And I'm going to start here at the top, configure service. Here's your replication service, your scheduler service, and your e-commerce integration. So configure service, replication. Okay, and that'll take a second to go pop up. Well, it should pop up. Right, here it is. Okay, now this over here is on the enterprise side. So this is, because I'm not running on a two-store setup at the moment. This is, I know the service is running, but it's not actually doing anything because there's no server name, no database name, or no user ID. What over here you can then go select what, you can then go enter in the server name. So, and the server name over here will be the enterprise server name. Okay. Well, so it'll be the enterprise server name or the IP address. Next up is the database name, obviously, and the one after that is generally your SA username and password. Then the next one up that we got is the failover server. There is a setting you can do in iVend called a failover server. It essentially creates a mirrored server where if for whatever reason your enterprise goes down, or you can also set this up for the store, it will actually go, it'll carry on, it will basically switch over to the failover server and carry on running. The only thing that will go and really tip you off that the failover server is now the one running is probably the, the old server going up in smoke or something like that. It just means that everything will carry on running even though you've got, even though it's switched on to the failover server. All right, and obviously it being us being near real time, everything's near real time, then it just goes and means it happens almost automatically. The next thing that we're going to have a look at over here, and unfortunately I do need to come open it up, go back here, configure service scheduler. Now your scheduler over here, this is what governs your emailing, SMSing, anything like that. That's what this covers. This has got precisely less than -0 to do with anything with scheduling updates or anything like that. That's not what we're talking about here. This is for things like your emailing of your emailing over here, for your communication settings, your SMTP emails, your SMS notifications, things like that. That's what it governs. It does not govern it does not govern anything to go do with the transactions moving around over here. That's it. Okay. All right, I can then click cancel, and then going back, right click again, Finally, I've got my one for my e-commerce. This is my e-commerce integration. As you can see over here, it's fairly straightforward. I've got it as localhost and it's connecting through to my e-commerce. There's the e-commerce server, the name. This is if my e-commerce, my actual e-commerce system is hosted, which more than likely is going to happen. You're going to have your enterprise server. Well, you'll either have your enterprise server on-premise or in a separate cloud, and then your e-commerce server in another cloud, or hosted at another place. So those are two things that are separated over there. Okay, and just one thing I do want to point out is that at the bottom of the screen over here, you've got start and stop buttons for the service. I'm going to come to what this little plus button does a bit later, and then obviously if I want to change anything on here, it won't actually, well, it shouldn't really allow me to go and do anything or click update. You'll see it cannot be left blank. If I want to do anything, then I need to go stop, update it, and then press start, and it will resume again. Obviously, I'm not going to do that, or otherwise it's going to ruin my integration over here at the moment. Next one up is the create new database. Now guys, obviously as time goes by, iVend is multi-tenancy. I think you've seen that as I log into the system. It goes and it actually pops up and it gives me an option of which database to log into. I can go use this over here to go create new databases. So for instance, I'll put in the server name, what my local server is. You can put in something like the loopback address for your IPs. What database name you want to give it, what user ID and what password. The script file over here is just basically what script you want to use to go if there's a specific script. And Bitdefender is going and telling me that it's disagreeing with what I'm doing over here. So so there you go. Don't mess with it, because otherwise your antivirus might get a bit angry with you. But once you do that, you can then connect and then restore, and it will create a new database for you. Okay. Next thing up is the web report viewer. Once again, like I said, this is one of the things on your checkboxes on your checklist over here that I recommend you just install anyway. It's part of the iVend API. Just always, if in doubt, install the API. Seriously. It's not a heavy service. It just runs in the background once you've got it and it's installed. The entire thing is that once it's there, it's there. You can use it if and when you want to. If it's not there, then you need to completely uninstall iVend and then reinstall iVend to go get it in and working. So rather just install it and be done with it. That way, you're safe. So over here, web report viewer, and you'll see over here I've got a little drop down, and that is because of the little plus button over here. And I said I'd come back to it. Now, obviously, if you're in a multi-tenanted environment, so where you've got multiple companies here on your enterprise server, then it will also depend on you going and setting up multiple APIs. So one API will be set up per database. One web report viewer will be set up per database. Connections will be done per database, all the rest of it. It essentially magnifies what you need to do quite considerably to go set things up, because there is then a lot of stuff you actually need to go do and set up for that. Obviously for all the additional databases. And what you do over here is you press the little plus button. Right there, you'll see it gives you a blank selection over here. You load up the new information, and it will give you a new report viewer, name, and it will create a new one for you. So, and you need to do that. You need to do that for all your databases. If you create one by accident and you don't want to use it, just press the stop button. That's it. It won't delete it. To delete it, you need to go delete it through IIS, which you can do if you want. But like I said, these are not particularly hefty services. Maybe if you've maybe got a couple of thousand of them, then then I can show you how to do it. But for purposes of this at the moment, I'm not going to do it. Right, next one up is iVend API, and this is our actual API service, which should pop up in a second. Okay, unless this is the version where I've got an issue with it. Okay, I've got an issue with this because, like I said, I had to roll back my versions. But once again, it's very similar to the web report viewer. Gives you exactly the same information: which database name, which user ID, which password you're connecting through. That's fine. Next one over here, right-click, Connection Manager. Now the Connection Manager is actually how your point of sale or your management console connect to the local database. So if I'm here at the store, okay, here at the store, I'll be setting them to connect to the store server. Okay, from the store server, I will set the replication service, which is this one. Right-click, Configure Service Replication. I will set the replication service to connect to the enterprise. Right. I don't connect the POS and the management console. POS and management console here, they connect to the store. Replication service connects from store to enterprise. Right. If I have a management console at the enterprise, well, you will have a management console at the enterprise. It's the only way you can set things up. Then I would go set the Connection Manager to point to the local database. But essentially, you're not the simple way to remember where you're connecting to with the Connection Manager is you should not be connecting across the internet. You should be connecting to your local server. That's the best way I can tell you on how to go set it up. Don't connect. You're not meant to be going across the internet. The only exception to that is if you're going to a cloud, and even then, there should be a local in brackets server that you're connecting to on the cloud. So that's the idea there. The entire with this, always go to the local server. The second that don't even think about going across the internet with this. You'll see I've got database name, user ID, password, show database selection. I'm going to tick that. So essentially all the local things I need to connect to my local server, I go and I set here. And this goes, and you'll see even there, connected, POS connect, cloud connected POS. Is it cloud connected or not? So that's something else to look at. But it will also give you some handy information such as the server name, local IP addresses. I've got half a dozen here because I'm using virtual machines, as well as public IP addresses of what your public IP address will be for that. So that's actually a very, instead of having to go, oh, start, wait, hang on, start, run, command, IP, you see, IP config, and then you spell it badly, and then you, there we go. So not an into IP config. Oh, that should go there. And then it goes and it spells it, and you make a complete fool of yourself on one of these live sessions. But anyway, so that's the kind of stuff that you would need to go, that you just need to be, careful of for this. So and with that, instead, you just come over here, 2 clicks, and you get all of your IP information and addresses that you need. So that's, and you can see that's pretty much why I use it, because yes, otherwise I can't remember half the commands I need. Finally up is auto upgrade. Now this, you'll see there's a couple of extra bits and pieces here, and this is where we get to the upgrade side of iVend. Now with iVend, there are 2 ways to do upgrades. One is you go along to the iVend site. All right, you go downloads, and you actually download the install file from here. And you run the upgrade that way, and you can go cart it around to, you can go take it to all of the points of sale, and then you have to run it at the enterprise, then go run it at each of the stores. So you run the store server, and then you run the management consoles and point of sales and upgrade all of them that way. Obviously with mobile POS, it's a bit easier, because with mobile POS, you just go say, hey, update the store from the, update the app from the Android store, and it updates. Yay. But otherwise, yeah. But otherwise, that's otherwise over here you can go. You're just running the exe. Otherwise, the other way you can do it is with what we call the over-the-air update, which is what I've got here. I right-click, I go auto upgrade. It goes upgrade information. I can go see if there are new upgrades over there. Because I'm running the demo stack at the moment, it's not actually allowing me, and because also it's my machine, and as per usual, I've had to go fix enough things that I've broken half a dozen things, as well, as you've probably seen from the way some of my stuff goes up and down. But you can see over here, that's where if there was a new upgrade, I would set the upgrade over here. Once I've done the upgrade, I can then go and allow the upgrade and get it to come through. The next with that, when it runs the upgrade, it actually opens this screen, which is the upgrade progress screen. That's probably part of the reason it's that it's got that there. Okay, and then it will go and complete the upgrade over there by itself. Once again, do not close the screen until the upgrade is completed. When you run the upgrade, you shouldn't have the POS or the management console open. Those should be closed, obviously. Otherwise, it goes and it says you need to reboot after the end of the upgrade, and then you need to reboot and all the rest of it. But just don't have that done. Final thing over here is current iVend information. If I go to current iVend information, you'll see it gives me the status of each of the setups here. Excuse me. Okay, all right. Sorry, gentlemen, that's... sorry, ladies and gentlemen, that's the my children's school that's calling. So anyway, I'll call them back in a minute. Okay, so you see, you can then go and get it. Updated and set through to what to that specific version. So yeah, once that's there, it'll then go tell you which version you're on and how far you're updated. Click cancel. Okay, next up is okay, so so that over there is the connection manager. Once again, it should be run as administrator. So right click and run as admin, at least the first time you're configuring it. Afterwards, it will just go run the services in the background, in which case you should be fine. Very sorry. I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen. I've just had a small crisis. Just give me a second to reply to this and I'll be right back. Okay, hopefully crisis averted, and I'm not going to need to go and deprive you of my charming company up until then. Okay, but before I dive into here, I think the next thing I do just want to go and show you, if I remember correctly, is, yes guys, here is the, I did go say I'll show you this, which is the website. There is the, this is where all the videos will be turning up. Once they've figured out exactly what's causing this. But it's not, the thing that actually did bamboozle me a bit is that it's not actually on the City Access Knowledge Portal. It's over here on iVend.com. So, all right, oops. There we go. So that will appear over there and you'll be able to go get that, you'll be able to go see that fairly shortly. So next up, and I'm just going to quickly refer back to my training. Okay, so back to the reports where we were. Let's see if we can go get everything up and running, and hopefully we don't go and cause an issue again this time. Edit. There we go. And there it works. Yay! So yeah, okay. So here we go, guys. This is the this is our thermal label setup. I did go through this before, but just to quickly go through this again with you guys. First up, code, description, fairly straightforward. Width and height of the actual label in millimeters. Okay. Yeah, the only place I know worldwide that still uses inches and inches and yards and all the rest of it is the US. So it is over here. It is set to millimeters, so you can go measure it and hopefully get it to roughly the same size. At the same time, you can also go set things to, is it labels per row, and is it a continuous feed? Because remember, you can get the A4 printouts for labels, where they will get, say, 5 labels per 5 labels. Well, more than that. Normally, it's something like 18 labels per A4 sheet, if it's something this size. And then you can go say, okay, well, it's 3 labels per row, and it's so many sheets. However, if it's on a continuous feed, like I have seen for some of the printers, where they just stick in a row of labels and just prints out, you can say it's 1 label per row, and then it's and then it is continuous. Gap length. So how big is the gap between this label and the label that follows it? Guys, this is something that you do need to be careful of, because obviously it does need to be fairly specific. Because I have seen it where the label, because what happens is, particularly on the labels that are on rolls, so they're on continuous feed rolls, the actual label itself can move on that paper. Because it's a wax paper, and because of the way it's wound, it means that as it actually winds, the label and the paper underneath it do tend to move a little bit against each other. Now, it might not seem like much, but when you're dealing with millimeters, it means over a whole roll, you might start printing right up at the top of the label, and at the end you're printing right at the bottom because of how the roll is actually moved and how the things have moved on the roll. At the same time, horizontal gap length, the actual piece of paper behind there can actually move left and right. I've seen that happen as well. And I've had some very, 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 very annoyed people at me who had lots of meetings and all the rest of it because, oh no, the labels aren't printing properly. And I actually went and I took out a couple of labels that I cut off, and I went and I said, well, here, this is the difference. Your labels are moving. Our printout is correct. Your labels are the ones that's actually causing the issue. Next thing, marked length and offset length. If you go and you do need to go and move them, once again, if you do need to go and just move them slightly as things go along. You can also go and do things like select it. You can obviously go and put in your different fields that you want over here. There you can put in text fields, picture fields, barcodes, all the rest of it. With there, you can also go and select them through to be part of a data field. So you see over here, this one's selected to price. There's a batch of fields over here. You can also add in user-defined fields on here that will go and add in additional user-defined values that go and help and sort things out on there. So if you do need to go and have, if you do need to go load up additional information that's not immediately available in the data field selection here, you can actually just have it written to a UDF and then pull it from the UDF that's here into the label itself. But there's also a lot of other things that go with it. Once again, I'm not going to go through all of this because there is a tremendous amount of stuff. Border thicknesses, the corner radius. Yes, how curvy do you want your corner? Printer's graphic sizing, tagging. The one thing I do actually want to have a look at, and I do want to show you over here. Look, you can also, before I get to that, you can also put in your pictures, and you can also put in barcodes. Now, your barcodes over here, obviously we do QR codes. The QR codes over here are, the barcodes you do over here are just about every type of barcode you can imagine. We already have the barcode formats and libraries. You do not need to go and purchase them from somewhere. And as you see, we actually cover most of them. I mean, from CodaBar through to QR code, Numbly number. I've got no idea what a Numbly number is. I mean, does that? Yeah, no, it doesn't like that one. So, but QR code is the one it's been set for. And I mean, it goes all the way down through the French Postal, Danish Postal, Australia Postal, Kodak Patch Code, EAN 13, UPCs, all of them. The what is it? CodaBar, Code 128, Data Matrix, UPC, Deutsche Post, Hands-in Code, UPS Intelligent Mail Package Barcode. We've got them all here. You don't need to go off and try and research them. 9 times out of 10, it will be there. And also the nice thing is that all of these codes are readable at the POS as well. So that's set up over there. And you can also go, there's a batch of other things you can set up here. Once again, with label reporting and report designing, this is something that you go and you set up, that you can go and that you set up, and I'm sure you'll learn lots about it when you actually do it, because it's not something I want to go bore you to death with over here. All right, but it is there. You can set it up. Like I said, Zebra, I'm pretty much guessing is one of the ones that we've printed on, because a lot of the descriptions are called Zebra. So go figure. All right, beyond that, we've got, we actually have 2 reports that go with it. One of them is item label printing. So for instance, and over here you can actually just go and say, I want to go add in a certain amount of products. Okay. Yeah, there we go. So I'm just going to say select some of the products here. Go OK. You can say what format you want. So Avery labels, Zebra template, Tempest, or template and continuous and all the rest of it. So what sort of format you want, what barcode symbology, how many of them you want, which barcodes are associated with them, all the rest of that. You can also do what's called smart product selection, and that will show all the products that have had their prices changed since the last label printing date. So what happens is you go in your receipting products your receipting products, you give them a new price, and it's different to the price of the ones you had before. You can then go over here, it'll automatically go say, okay, you now have 47 products over here in the store, you need to print out 47 labels, as opposed to for you having to go off, count the products, come back, oh no, we missed one, oh, I've overprinted, or I've done whatever. You can go get it to auto print here and select the exact amount, the exact right amount here. Next one up is shelf label printing. Now, shelf label printing, this is for the actual shelves that go there. Guys, this is, look, normally this is something you just stick it under, you stick it on the shelf underneath where the product is. Fairly normal. I do know the other question I normally get around here is what about those automatic price updates or those automatic price displays that I'm seeing a lot of out here in South Africa. Guys, that's a slightly different integration. Well, it is a different system, one. And two, the actual, the software that comes with that normally goes and reads from a SQL database. So you just connect it through onto our SQL database and it pulls the prices and it helps you go load things up. I have seen that happen. In fact, that's normally the way a lot of these things work, is that 9 times out of 10 they connect through to, they have the facilities to connect through to a SQL database, and they will just pull, you type in your SQL statement, your select statement, it selects it in a specific order, pulls it into there, and then will upload it into their device. So that's here as well. After that, we get down to the more normal ones I'm expecting you guys to use a bit more, which is the query builder, the report designer, and the dashboard designer. Now, the query builder is pretty straightforward if you guys are familiar with SQL. Okay, let me ask this then. Hands up who is not familiar with SQL, or who doesn't, and when I say familiar, hands up who knows which end of the select code of a select statement to start with. Hands up who doesn't know about select statements. Okay, so everyone can at least try. Okay, Bigger Sure. I'm going to suggest that if that's the case, then I'd suggest Google select statement. All right. Yeah, that's fortunately there are some that are already in here, so you can go use that as a starting base. Dead simple. Select from, and then where. And you can go put your end clause, your where clause over there. But guys, look, to be very honest, it's a very nice writer over here. I mean, it's all sort of drag, and I can drop stuff, and I can set my primary and foreign keys, and all the rest of it, and it will auto generate my code over here, and I can select what outputs I want, where I want it, all the rest of it. It is very nice, but just about everybody who I know goes and just uses the SQL Management Studio. So, which is fine. You can write in the SQL Management Studio and then go paste it over here. That's fine as well. I mean, this bit over here you can edit. That's fine. It's not a problem. And if you want to write it in here, I've got no problems with that. It's just that I find most people use SQL Management Studio anyway. There are, though, the reason I normally come over here is because this is where I can, search for my DB objects. So if there is something I specifically want to look at, I can see here. I can also go and, so I can go see, it gives me my different views, my different, everything that iVend basically uses, my different select statements, all the rest of that. It gives me a pretty good idea about what's actually going on in iVend, and I can use that to then write my select statement. Having said that, we only support select statements to be written here. For all of you SQL ninjas out there, and I know you're out there, you guys who are thinking, oh, I can go and put a select statement, or I can put a drop table, or a delete, or a update, or, well, select statement you're allowed. Updates, deletes, drops, inserts, all the rest of them, no. Select, yes. Update, or anything else, no. Right, please remember that, guys, and this is one of the things we do search for when we go and we help you guys, and we do when we dial in to help you, is has somebody run an update script or something like that from here. Once I've decided exactly what my exactly what I want to run, I can then execute it, and over here I can actually do some fairly nice stuff here. I mean, I can do sort ascending or sort descending, or clear the sorting, which is rather nice. I can go, let's go and do best fit all columns. If I want, I can go drag this up and I can go put that there as a group for what's going on over there. And then I can even go and drag that up for actual date and put that as a subgroup. So that's quite nice. And finally, the really nice thing about it is that I can actually export it to Excel. Right, and it comes out as an XLS file. So I think this is what, day sales. And it exports it, and we will. And of course I'm probably going to go crash everything when I open this up, but we'll see what happens. Oh, yes, there we go. It even comes through with pivot, with your selects and all the rest of it. So that's actually quite nice, and it does that. Once again, guys, being built on Microsoft, it means that we do go look at Microsoft stuff. Obviously, things like the transaction key is, yeah, well, that's just the way it is. So you just need to go and change the format of that to go and get it to display correctly, and I'm sure you'll be fine. Okay, all right, there you go. I'm not going to save that because, yes. So that's there, and it is actually quite nice. You can go run this as a, the nice thing about the queries though, the really nice thing is you can actually attach them to a schedule. And that's over here. This is my schedule manager. And I can go new, and I can go give it a code and things like that. And then I can go say what type of schedule I'm running. Is it a query or a report or a campaign? Reports and queries are generally sent to specific people. Campaigns will be sent to everybody. And please remember, once again, I'm going to come over here and we will pull up our old friend Edward. I'll go to customer view. That one of the things that we do have over here as a checkbox is marketing, whether they want marketing materials or not. So a campaign will look at that and determine whether they want to go and get, I suppose I should just go leave it over there because we might refer back to this. So if they want marketing, they can turn that on or off. That's something else that you do need to go and have a look at, that you do need to just be aware of. Now, if I select query or report, I can then go, I'm just going to select query for the moment. I then select the source, right? Ketchup if you want, or mustard. No, it's the source of what we're actually selecting, so that's over there. Next one, the next thing I'm going to come back to run on request in a second. I just want to quickly talk about the schedule. I'm sure everyone is familiar with scheduling alerts or reports. In fact, most software I know, most ERP software I know has got some form of scheduling that they can go put in here. It's really straightforward. I'm not really going to go and, unless somebody wants me to go in depth, I'm not really going to do that. Only thing I will point out is that you can go set your interval type, and you can also set which weekdays, so which days of the week it actually goes out on. There's a very specific reason we set that, and that is if you're working in places like, for instance, Dubai, where they have a Sunday to Thursday week as opposed to a Monday to Friday week. So you might only want your reports on certain days, you might not want them on other days. So that is something that's there. Start time, end time, how many times run up till, how many times, repeat how many times. Obviously, if it's grayed out, it's just going to go on forever. Start date, end date. Which email template, if there is an email template that is associated with this, you can go and select that for here. You can also go say who the email's from, who it's to. In this particular case, I'm going to go just say it's to me. Yay! If you want to CC somebody, as also if you want to put in a subject and a body. One thing that is over here is that you don't, if it doesn't allow you to go and add in additional email addresses. Okay, I can't put a semicolon. You might not be able to hear the pating that it's giving me when I press that, but I can't put a semicolon there. There's a very specific reason for that, is that this is a mail to us, it's an alert to a specific somebody. Now, the next question I normally get is, but Keith, what if we want to send this to multiple people? And I go say, well, that's what your email groups are for. Please remember, just set up an email group. So if it's sales@cityaccess.com, it will send it to the sales@cityaccess.com email address, and which then the email server will do the hard work of splitting it into all the other places. So that's something else that you just need. Another little tip, another little trick about how to go get it in and running and working. The one thing I am going to do about this is I am just going to go and drop the time to 11. So hopefully we'll see this go run a bit later. But before I click OK and continue on, I do want to go point out that we do have these options, run on request and SMS keyword. Now, run on request is one of the really cool things that we actually do. No, I'm not going to set it over here because my Nexmo account has run out. But if you do have an account with Nexmo, then what you can do is you can go and you can actually go click run a request, and over here you can put in SMS keywords. So for instance, day sales. And with that SMS keyword, you SMS that through Nexmo to the iVend system. It will then trigger this to actually run. Yes, I will repeat that. You SMS through Nexmo to the iVend system. It will trigger this report to run, and it will go and send it back. It will email it back to you. You can actually get it so that you can actually write it in such a way that it will go and SMS it back to you. But that's another little trick I'm going to leave for further down the line. If you want to go and if you want to do that, you can have a look up. We have examples on the City Access Knowledge Portal. Finally, when I'm just going to untick that, or otherwise this thing's going to go a bit crazy. Subject cannot be left blank. Day sales, there we go. I click OK, and then it will go run that automatically. Now, that's in place. Hopefully we'll see that a bit later. The schedule is up and running, and we'll carry on. Okay, so that's the scheduling side of that over there. The last thing I do want to point out is that you can also do this for reports. So any of the reports that we're about to look at over here in the, well, any of these, yeah, any of those reports that you want, you can actually go schedule this to run as well. Back to the designer and then to the report designer. Now, the report designer, obviously, I know that you guys out there, a lot of you guys still use Crystal reports. Okay, there's been some contention over it ever since SAP took it over about 4 or 5 years ago now. So a lot of people are using their other own reports, including, well, they're moving away from Crystal, as well as also they start using like MS, Microsoft Intelligence, as well as Microsoft Report Writers. ClickView is another one that's popped up. Power BI, there's a batch of these ones out there that are popping up. Also, people seem to be going and writing their own ones, so it's out there, guys. Having said that, we have our own one. This one is called by a bunch called SimulSoft, which is actually pretty good. It seems to work pretty well. It works in much the same way that Crystal does. Having said that, we can still load Crystal reports into the system, and there are in fact 1 or 2 reports in here that are still Crystal. It's not a problem. We do work with Crystal reports. The reason we have this is that we can go use this to go and run our online report viewer. Crystal's one is prohibitively expensive, so right, we'd rather not go and break the bank on it. You can write your own report from beginning. There are actually a batch of example reports that you can run, including a label wizard report if you really want to go that way. I wouldn't recommend using this to go and write reports. It's we have a I wouldn't recommend. Pardon. Let me go and say that correctly. I would recommend this to write reports. I would not recommend this to go write labels. That's why we've got the label report writer over here. If you're going to write labels, rather use the right tool for the right job. It's far easier. And if you've ever had to write labels in Crystal, you know what I mean. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to open a report, and the first thing you'll see is that it doesn't actually take me into iVend to go get the report. And here's something, and I'm going to take you through exactly how we get the report out of the system now, because this is something quite important that you need to understand, is that this doesn't connect straight through and edit the reports in iVend itself. What you actually need to do is you need to go to Administration, Application Setup, and you'll find there's one over here called Report Manager. Now, the Report Manager is all of the reports that are in the system. Okay, this includes things like, if I have a look down, there is actually a transaction receipt report, for instance, or a timesheet report, or any of these reports. These are all here in the system. Yes, they are in the system, and yes, we very, 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 very deliberately do not link directly through to it. And that is because we want to go and we actually want to kind of force you to make a backup of the report before you edit it. If I go and if I open what's in here, you'll see it goes and it says that there's a report XML that goes with it. This is for your selection items, as well as there's also a report path where the report lives. You'll see it's blank at the moment because it's in the database. And this is a system report as well. There are different types of reports you can have. I'll show you one of those in a minute. But is it enabled? Is it customized? Is it a document report? Is it a label report, coupon report, or a notification report? And which report group does it go into over here? I'm just going to go new, and you can go see the, you'll see that it automatically defines it as a custom report if I go new. And that's deliberate because it goes and it sorts the reports and also gives certain functionality to the reports that way. But Keith, how can I then go and modify this report and then go and bring it back into the system? Well, that's very simple. What you do is you select the report you want to modify, you then click export, and you'll see it then exports the report. So I've got your timesheet.iot, I go save, report successfully exported. All right, and that's sitting in my City Access folder. What I can then do is I can then come back to reports, report designer, I go file, I go open, I can then go select the report, and you'll see here's a batch of them that I've exported before. What makes you think I've done this once or twice? I can then select the report I just exported. And then you'll see it comes up over here and all these lovely green bands and stuff like that that I can go and then play around with and see exactly how I want to go and edit it. Yes, once again, guys, I'm not diving into this. You don't get tested heavily on this. I mean, you just need to know how to go export the report, as well as I'll show you in a second how to import the report. Actually editing the report, yeah, once again, this is something that we find people learn how to do as you go along. There are one or two nice things that, there are one or two nice things you can do in here, such as sub reports. So if you've got a report and then there's a report under the report, you can go, you can also do that over here, which, in fact, you can go as far down as you want. So if you want sub reports, you can do it. Just remember, if somebody else has to edit it, comment exactly what you're doing, because otherwise I know what happens is that it's put there and everything works, and then they want to change it, and then it just destroys everything, and then, yeah. Much frustration ensues. Still, the thing is that it's here. You can do it. There are quite a few things that you can do. One of the things I do want to show you is that if you go to preview, it will go collate the report, and it actually has a report checker to go say if there's issues or warnings. And I seem to have actually picked a report that doesn't have any things on it, but normally it will tell you over here if a field's lying out of section. So, and I know this happens because I've had this happen before with Crystal, is that you've got a report that prints out to a couple of hundred pages, and you go and you test it, and you've got all the formatting right and all the fields look correct on the first, you had a look at say the first 4 pages, and you figure, oh yeah, no, that's about right, that, yeah, really I don't see how it could go wrong. And then 3 weeks later you get a call, oh no, this report is broken. And you're sitting there, and you sit there and you sweat through it, and eventually you go through, oh no, the text didn't wrap on line 96, right, on this one field that we actually put in that the name is some huge gargantuan name that we didn't use anywhere else, but it didn't wrap on that one. And because of that, the report is broken. Yeah, I'm not bitter about it at all. Okay, all right, so I've clicked cancel, and yes, we come up with a nice big confirmation screen. It's going and saying report was not saved. I'm going to click no. If you want to save the report, click OK. It's that simple. It will go then. It then goes and pops it up, and it then actually prompts. It doesn't automatically resave it over the same report. It actually prompts you to put in a new file name, and this is our subtle way of going and actually reminding you that you should not be going and overwriting the original report. Remember, guys, it's a couple of kilobytes. Seriously, having version 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I've gone to version 15 on reports before, because honestly, right, there's nothing worse than you go and you do everything, it's up, it's almost running, and then the report corrupts. Or you change one little thing and it destroys everything. Remember, guys, just save. If in doubt, save. Jesus saves, you should too. So, right. Remember, and save it, try save it in different iterations. That'll just go save you the madness. At least if it corrupts, then you can go say, okay, I've lost half an hour's work, as opposed to, oh my God, I've just lost a week's worth of my life. All right. But that should be the same but you guys should know that by now anyway. Okay, so finally I'm going to come across to Dashboard Designer. Now the Dashboard Designer over here, yes, dashboards. This is the craze at the moment. Everyone wants dashboards. Every ERP I know has got dashboards. Some do them well, some don't. Particularly some of your high-end systems, they do it really well. SAP HANA is one that is particularly impressive, but Nav and X3 definitely have things that are really, really impressive as well. So we do dashboards as well, obviously, because, hey, why not? These are the ones that are preset in the system. Let's go with the store view report. Now, the store view report that I'm now actually going to go into edit mode, because there is one thing over here that is, I think, particularly nice and very cool about the way it gets set up. And this dashboard over here actually relies, one of the things about it is that it does actually rely on the query builder to go and actually write the, and you'll see over here, the queries that it actually lists here, it lists as data sources, are actually the same queries that are listed in the query builder. That's why you go and you open it up and you see there's like 12 zillion queries. That doesn't necessarily make sense that you'd have all those, but there is a very specific reason you can do that. Select your data source, select your query over there, and then you can start going and pulling it through. It's very easy to go and edit this, to go and add in additional values over there. Well, it's just more or less drag and drop. And now it's not allowing me to do this because I've probably selected the wrong thing. So yeah, but you can see over there it's got different calculations, all the rest of it. Once again, I'm not diving into this, guys, because it's a dashboard designer, and I know what's going to. We don't ask a lot of questions on it. We basically ask is, do you know it's there? And I think the one question we do ask is what I'm going to show you now. Now, each of these over here is what we call a widget. So yes, it's a widget, very easy to remember, and you'll see that each of them's got different data items associated with it. But that's fine. That's stuff that you can easily go set up. I mean, adding one in, I can add in a gauge. From there, I can then say, I can then start to pull in things like my different POS, my different transaction ID, different business dates, and actually, let's just go put that over there. Yeah, so there we go. It's now gone and brought up the gauges, and it's telling me that something's gone wrong over there. So that's essentially how easy it is to go and actually write something over here. Whether you get something comprehensible or not is up to you. So obviously that's the same for any of these. But there's a lot of stuff you can do up here. The one thing we will ask you a question on is down here in the set timer, right, which you may get a question on here. And the reason is that there is actually a very important thing about this, is that you can actually set the refresh rate of each of the widgets in the next screen. And you can set it in seconds. So over here, I can have the purchase orders refresh every 600 seconds, which is 5 minutes. Oh, my math is a bit off over there, but every 600 seconds, which is 10 minutes. Thank you very much. I can have that, but I can set that over here for each of these. And it means that with the dashboard, I can actually just leave it open. And specifically, I can actually leave it open in my, if I come along over here to my, here it is, to my online report viewer. Remember, this is the report viewer I was talking about. We're not using Paul White, we're using one. One is the username and password. I go and I sign in. Once I've signed in, it'll give me the option of which reports I want. And the important bit is that it will actually go and is that these refresh rates that I set down here in the timer, yeah, it really doesn't like me now because I've mucked about with it. But the refresh rates I've set there in the timer, they actually go and they will, okay, and of course now it doesn't want to sign me in, does it? Dashboards. Okay, so I've got the choice of either reports or dashboards. I'm actually just selecting dashboards because that's what we're on. I can go loss prevention. I can go show, except I think I showed you the store one. Anyway, loss prevention is very similar, and I can go have each of these go and refresh in real time on here on the actual dashboards themselves. This is very, very handy, guys, because it means that you can just leave this up and leave it running, and people can come and get information from it. It can also be used as customer information dashboards. So if you can have this up and running somewhere, people can just look at it. It'll tell them, now serving customer number, whatever. I see this a lot in KFCs where they've got things like these dashboards up and running. So I think with them, they just press F11, it enters full screen mode, and you can go see, and it goes and it just runs through and updates as it goes along. But that's something else that you can have a look at. That's, once again, options, guys. We have them, lots of them. All right, so that's over there. That's our dashboard. Unless there are any specific questions about it, I am going to go and move on. At which point I'm actually a bit surprised. Normally I do get questions around reports, but... Okay, is everyone still awake? Hands up who's still awake. The usual suspects. Okay, all right. Thanks, guys. All right. Okay, I'm going to put your hands down now. Okay. All right. So that is over there. Nice to know that you guys are still all here. So the important thing is that the dashboards and labels are over there. Once again, I'm sure if you guys have ever dealt with Crystal Reports or any other reporting tool, you never find out all that you need to know about the reporting tool until you actually have to go get in there and write with the reporting tool. For that, the last thing I'm going to go say about it is you should go across to our extensibility section over here. And I see I have a question. Okay, I'll answer the question as soon as I show the extensibility section. And here's the report designer. There are guides, there are user manuals, there's presentations, there's knowledge articles on how things work. There's e-learning videos. There's all of this over here. And I know what it's like. You go and you think, oh, it'll take a day to write the report. And then, 3 days later, you're still trying to figure things out. And the last thing you want to do is actually go and read or have a look at the video. But I can really recommend just reading and having a look at the video. It will help. Questions. Is it possible to customize cache or till interface? Intercase? Jean-Paul, I take it you're talking about the thermal printouts. Jean-Paul, can you just confirm? Is it the thermal printouts at the till you're talking about, or is it the reports that we've just had a look at? Okay. Essentially, yes. You can go and table. You can customize the interface. That's not a problem. You can customize the reports. That's not a problem over here. Once again, if you're going to go customize the actual, if you're actually going to go and customize the printouts for the actual thermal ones, you can actually go and do that. And today my system really doesn't like me. Okay. Hence the reason you should upgrade. All right, guys, this I think is more a function of the fact that I am actually, that it's more my system, and I think I've tried to break it one too many times. It's getting back at me, so. All right. But yes, you can go and modify it. You can customize the, we have actually been through it. You can customize the printouts. You can customize the front-end table layouts, and you can also go customize the dashboards. Please remember that there are drill downs and dashboards associated with the customer and with the product as well. So those are, so yeah, that's a nice dashboard to go see. You can go see everything, and it's got nice big colorful stuff that all the that the sales guys really like. So that's a nice one you can go show. All right, you can customize it. Yeah. Okay. All right, so all right, next up. Okay, I just next up over here, we've done that. The X-tape report, I've talked about that. The replication monitor, I will quickly show you that. iVend accessibility implementation methodology, guys. To be very honest, implementation methodology. If you run ERP implementations before, I don't think you need anything about implementation methodology. Our implementation methodology is not different to an ERP system. In fact, it's an add-on to the ERP system, if I can put it to you that way. You implement much the same way. It's not a problem. You can go and run it through there. City Access Knowledge Portal, we did that last week, Monday. And then Mobile POS, which is the mobile POS I want to get to, but I also want to, there is one thing that we did skip, which is iVend handheld, that I also want to show you now as well. Okay, so iVend handheld is over here, and this is what I went and I opened it up to run it earlier. I'll just show you how to go get this one running. Please remember, I'm running it on an emulator over here. And the reason I'm running it on an emulator is so you guys can see what's actually going on. Normally, this would be loaded onto a Windows Mobile 6.5 device. I will repeat again. It's a Windows Mobile 6.5 device. It is, or a 6.0. It's not Windows CE. I repeat, it is not Windows CE. All right. Okay. It's very specifically Windows Mobile 6.5. Unfortunately, we are not on Android for this because we haven't had the call for it. If there is the call for it, and I personally think that I will be the first one in line to go and even to be there to go recommend it and to back it to the hilt that it should be there, because that's my view, is that it should be this should be on Android. But if you guys find it, we will go and make it over to be Android. That simple. First up, I'm going to select which company I'm attached to. So Acme in this case, I'm going to put my username and I put in my password. Okay, this is connecting in via the APIs. This is one of the reasons that I recommend you go and this is one of the reasons I recommend you put the APIs in, because all of a sudden further down the line the guy says, oh, I want to go do stock takes by a scanner. And I have had that happen. In fact, I had it happen beginning of this year in Kuwait, where I was there. And the guy went and said, oh no, well, we've got these stock scanners. We want to use them to take stock. And we said, okay, sure, let's go there. Go to the store. What hadn't they installed? APIs. Because they hadn't installed APIs, well, we needed, you had to go and uninstall the entire point of sale, reinstall with APIs. Yeah, don't do it. Just listen to Uncle Keith and install the APIs. Okay, please start the mobile POS again. Okay, in Kiru, this is not the mobile POS. Just so everyone knows, this is not the mobile POS. This here is not the mobile POS. This is the mobile stock take module. It is separate. This is not a mobile POS unit at all. Right there. Please do not get the two confused. This is very specifically a mobile stock take module. Okay, I select which warehouse, and I go in, and from here I can do my goods receipt. If I'm going to do a goods receipt, I can go select my purchase order from whichever purchase orders I have in the system. From there, and in each of these fields over here, I can actually scan in what's there. So that's the idea, is that I actually just rather scan things in rather than have to go and rather than have to type them in or do the selection like I'm doing at the moment, because I shouldn't really be doing that. I should just be scanning it. Yeah, I'm going to go say, well, because I've got this over here, I can go and quickly check how much I've got and how much I am receipting this in. Okay, and we'll see over here there's only one of those, so that's fine. I'm just going to go receipt in one. I can do under and over receipting on this if I do set it, but for the moment I'm just going to receipt in one just to go complete it. I can add in a comment as well if there is a comment, and then once I've selected that, I click add row. So once I've confirmed what I want, I click add row, it adds it in, and then I click save. Do you want to send document to iVend? Yes. That's a happy sound. That's a happy sign. So there, that's now been added in. I can also initiate things like stock transfers, so shipments or receipts, I can do that through here. Stock management, goods issues, if I do a goods issue, put no reference number. If there is a business partner that I want to select, so if I want to do a customer or a vendor, Alan Brewer, select, and then I can go select the item code, and these don't actually sort, you can't sort these by like you normally do by double clicking the header and it'll sort. No, these ones over here are special, so I'm actually just going to type the item code in because I happen to know which one it is, and I'm going to go say we're goods issuing to, and then add row, and then repeat. So that's something else that you do want to just keep an eye on over here, and in fact I'm going to you can go change your locations. You can, if you want to, go and remove the row, and I'm going to go change my location to default, so I'm goods issuing from the default location, and I can click save. Do you want to send document to iVend? Yes. Transaction completed successfully, which means that if things actually worked, you'll see it actually came up over here. There it is. It actually goods issued from from there to that specific vendor and that business partner. So, all right. Please remember, guys, this is the stock module, and the stock module, and this is one thing that, yes, I do go a bit dilly about because I get the salespeople get this mixed up all the time. This stock module, this stock scanner module over here is only on Windows. The mobile POS, which I will show you in a second, is on Android and Apple. Okay, this, not Android, Apple. Mobile POS, Android and Apple. All right. Goods return. Yeah, I'm going to go through these pretty quickly now. Also, item lookup. So if I want to have a look at, say, what the price is of an item, I can use this as a lookup scanner. I've got that over there. That's automatically there. I can also do stock takes through here. And finally, about, and it will tell you what it is. And finally, I'm just going to go exit. So do I want to exit? Yes. So that's what the mobile stock take scanner is. Now, I'm going to go and actually show you what the mobile POS is like and how we go and we set that up. So first off, sorry guys, I need to go and get my, I just need to go and connect my tablet through here. Okay, activate side sync. Yes, that's what I want to do. We want to connect to there. Okay, so now that should, there we go. Okay, and that's popped up over here. And right, okay. Yeah, and so this is my tablet I've got here. I've activated, If you do have a Samsung tablet, they normally come with this thing called SideSync. One of the options of SideSync is to synchronize through to auto-synchronize through to your actual PC, which is very nice because while there are some products out there that do actually go and allow you to view your view the screen of your device on your PC. Very few of them I've found actually work properly or at all. So over here, iVend POS. Now guys, please remember, this over here is the iVend mobile POS. This is the actual mobile POS that I've been talking about. Well, this is a mobile point of sale. This is the one where we go and we set the this is the one that runs on Android and Apple. And before I actually sign in, I do actually want to go and set a few things. Okay. And I just want to go show you what the differences are and where we set these things in iVend. So first off, you do need to come across to Retail Config, Store, Greenfield Store, and here at the moment is my IP address. I just want to go check that that is correct. And this is where having the connection manager is really handy, because it will actually go and guide you to which one is, well, normally it's a bit handier in going and guiding me to exactly which one it is, but 192.168.254. Okay, let me just go and change that here. 192. Okay, so I need to put the server address in there. I then need to go and just run the API health check to go check my APIs are healthy. And then it'll go check is the IIS installed. This over here is very handy to just go see is everything up and running. If it is up and running, great. If not, yeah, then you need to diagnose it. More than likely, if it's not up and running, it's a firewall. Yes, I know. I've had this before. People go say, "Oh, but I've turned off all the firewalls." No, but no, we've disabled this, and it turns out to be no, there's a firewall on the router. Yeah, guys, my big suggestion with this is if you do have a problem with this, investigate it with the actual networking person. Don't do it yourself, because you might turn off something and think, oh, well, I'll just disable this for the moment, and then forget about it. And then all of a sudden you've left them open to a hack. So get the networking person there to help. Okay, so that seems to be up and running. The next thing that we're looking at over here is we need to go set. We need to go to, well, we've been to store. We need to go to point of sale. And you see over here I've got one mobile point of sale. Now my mobile point of sale over here is actually set as POS type mobile. Okay, and that's something that's very important, that it needs to be set. If it's not set, it won't go and communicate. Once I've done that, I can then set up the rest of it, and you'll see is it offline enabled, just which retail profile, which default profile does it use, print profile, department, is it enabled, does it use an API token. The API token is very important. This is auto-generated. The API token over here is generally auto-generated, and it is set when it goes and it connects through to the device. So it's similar to the hardware ID, except it's the API token that does that there. I can also set where my data source is from. Since I'm running in mixed mode, it says enterprise right there. If you're running it at a store, it can say store. If you're running in depending on how you're setting it up, it will go connect through to individual different points. From here, I'll also need to set a custom series for customers, because remember, I can create customers at the point of sale. I can't create products, I can't create vendors, but I can create customers. So it does get its own custom series you need to put in. Finally, once I've done all of that, I can go scan configuration. And it brings up this lovely QR code over here, which I can then scan in the system. So in order to scan it, I come across to my tab over here. Right, I go setup. Right. First thing it asks me for is server settings. My deployment at the moment is set to demo. right there. I instead want to go set it to, and now I need to try and just swipe it up to on-premise. I'm going to set that there. Do I want to initialize over the air? Yes. In this case, you might not always want to. The difference is do you load up a small database, do you put a database backup onto here, or do you initialize over the air? And then I can come along and I can go say scan configuration. Now, when I scan configuration, it's not going to show you anything here at the moment, primarily because I don't have, because my machine is lying flat on its back, and I need to go pick it up. The world's all of a sudden going to go quite bright in a second as soon as I get it out of its case. Yes, always remember to keep it in a case. All right, so there, and now I lift it up. There we go. It's now scanned the configuration. Let's see if this actually works. And now it's checking server connectivity. The only thing I will say is that you are going to need to go check is your, and the reason this might not work is I think that this version of the mobile POS is won't connect through to my, won't connect through to the version of iVend. Yeah, unable to communicate with iVend server. Okay, all right. I thought that might happen primarily because it's the wrong version. But that's how you do it. That's how you can go connect it. Once you've connected it, you can click initialize. And yeah, check server connectivity. And it even gives you a debug view of it going through and checking how everything goes and connects through. You can do that because obviously you need to go and debug it and go see where you're pinging it. There are also certain tools that I do recommend that you do go, if you are going to do this, you do use. One of them is called, over here it's called Fing. Maybe later. Okay, now what this does is I can actually go and detect on the network, and I see that I've actually put in the wrong IP address. So there's my desktop is 10.0.0.4. So yeah, helps if you go in. Helps if you put in the right IP address. Let's go. Okay, and then if you're going to change the IP address, you come to store here. Enter that in. Click OK. Okay, open up mobile POS. Let's try the scan configuration thing again. And then we'll just check if this works. Okay. The reason I use IP addresses, by the way, is because I find it gives you better domain name resolution, or better resolution. People's DNSs do not always work correctly. I have found that as well, and it does also mean sometimes you get through on the IP address as opposed to actually putting in the computer name. And there we go. At the moment, it just seems that my one doesn't want to connect. I suspect because, once again, I've got the wrong version here. But that's not a problem because we can still carry on with this, because if we go down here, we can set it to demo, which basically means that I'm now in demo mode, and we can have a look at how the rest of it works. Other things we can do over here, configuration, fast scanning mode. If that's activated, it means that it's in constant communication with the server. How do you want to go add products to a sale, product list, or do you want to go select one of these ones, button or catalog? Fingerprint login. The fingerprint login over here relies on the actual device to have a fingerprint scanner. So I know a lot of the high-end tablets have it these days, high-end tablets, high-end phones. If you've got a Samsung, if you've got a Samsung, it's probably got it. Apple, I know, has it. Sony and the rest of them, they do have it, but we do integrate through to that. Your language settings, you do have a slightly limited set of language settings over here, but you do have the option to do custom languages, which means that you can load them up into whichever one you want. This is the basic languages that we have set up in iVend anyway, so this is something that for you to just consider. but you can custom load up additional languages if necessary for the mobile POS. It's an XML that you load. It's very easy. Then from there, currency symbol, custom layouts on transaction receipts, and email config. Right there, if you do want, if there's any email config that needs to happen over here, if you are sending that, and then any additional transaction API paths, that's if you're integrated through to anything else that needs to be notified of this. Next up, hardware. Now the hardware over here on the mobile POS, guys, is something you do need to be very aware of, because unlike OPOS, unlike the Windows point of sale, we've got the OPOS drivers, which are standard drivers that go and run through the system. The problem is that there is no such standard on the mobile point of sale. So the way it works is we have either tested it with the hardware, or not. Now, if you do have something, we can go and get it in here. We can get it tested. We are more than happy to go and do that and integrate it in. But you guys need to talk to us about that. We do support things such as network printers, right? So you can do network printers. You can do Wi-Fi printers, except the Wi-Fi printer over here is a very specific one. It's the Epson Wi-Fi printer. We do have a hardware and software guide for this on the City Access Knowledge portal. Right, then Wi-Fi printers, MPOP, which is a Star Micronics one. It's very nice. It's all set up. Cubed is one of our local suppliers out here in South Africa we use. You will probably find that if you are in a deal with us and they need hardware, we will probably recommend them because they're pretty good. The stuff that they've got is very nice and it's reasonably priced. So next one up is the Bluetooth printer. If you have a Bluetooth printer connected, you can also do that. We do also have certain payment gateways or payment devices, the Comatac, the ID Tech, Ingenico, Handpoint, Mericard, KN Payment. Those ones are the ones we've integrated to. They are not. These ones are very specific. You can't go and, once again, doing mobile payments on here on the mobile device as opposed to doing it on the as opposed to actually going and doing it through the normal Windows device. Very different setups you need to do. Finally, your synchronization setup, because you can do auto sync, you can do time sync, you can do background sync, and then finally you can also auto validate transactions or not if you do want it to auto validate if it's online. Otherwise, if the data is because remember there is actually a small database on here. So you can select it after, say, a certain amount of days to go do a data purge. You'll see it ranges everything from 7 to 90 days. So it can be quite a long time, but once again, it's an online system, guys. You're not meant to be really going and leaving this offline for a long time. If it's, I wouldn't recommend being offline for more than 3 or 4 days, really. Even by then, you should be able to get something in to go and reconnect it. Finally, synchronize, where you can actually go click synchronize and it will go and tell me to please initialize first, but once it's there, you can go tell it to synchronize. You can even go have a look at the log and it will tell you about how it's going and synchronizing through and what it's trying to go connect. And also what errors you're getting, if you're getting errors, how you're getting errors, and you can then try and diagnose those. All right, so from here, I'm going to come through. I've got my username. All right, so this one should be made. I need to go over here. I need to go, sorry, I need to go set it as demo and I need to click save. Remember, always save. And as soon as I do that, it gives me demo username, demo password. One other thing I do want to point out, there is the help button. There is support, which will connect you through to our support. Click sign in, then it signs into the actual mobile POS. I do have the option to go scan. If I scan, it will go and you'll see the, right there, you'll go and you'll see my tiles on my floor. And that's if I want to use the camera on the actual device to scan. I've also got my list view, right, of what I've got there, my button panel. Remember we did discuss the button panel. Yeah, there we go. So with the different pictures that are associated with it, we did discuss the button panel. Earlier in one of the other sessions, and then I've also got the catalog where I can go and swipe left and right to go and actually, yes, there we go. So all of that, you can go put that there, and then just to add it in, it's just a simple plus of a button, and it gets added in here. There are additional fields I can add. There are additional, if I have user-defined fields, I can actually go put them in here. If I want to go and put in additional information, I can put that here, batch or serial numbers, salespeople. We handle batch, serial, sales, even expiry dates can get handled at the mobile POS. It is a fully featured mobile POS. There's nothing that's missing about it. You can also go sales edit. So if you do need to go edit the main sales section, you can do that here as well. There's coupons or customer reference numbers. You can put that. If you email addresses, all the rest of that goes over here. You can suspend the sale. I can void the sale, and I can do a quick cash transaction. If I want to delete the line, so I say, oh, that's the wrong item, I just press the little trash bin. Do I want to delete the line? Yes, and then it's gone. Plus, okay, so that's over there. Over here, from here, I can go to total. All right, and now I can do my different payments. Please, you see over there, it's got a little red icon. That means that it's not connected. Fair enough. Cash, credit card, gift card, you can go set these here. So I'm going to just do cash. Right there, if there is a different amount. The reason it hasn't brought up my keyboard is because it's in this, I'm connected to my computer. I have a question. Woo! Could you create baskets and link a range of products to these baskets? Okay, Willem. All right, okay. I think that's on my previous screen, so I'm going to go there, back. You see, I can actually go back here. I presume you're talking about over here if you wanted to say do certain items that you'd select here, or are you talking about kitting, more on the kitting side? Kitting. Yes, this does handle kitting over here. So you can sell kits through here. That's not a problem. I'm not sure if you can disassemble kits through this POS, but you can definitely sell kits through here. That's not a problem. You can also do assembly bill of materials. That's not a problem. Okay, let's go. Sales. Okay. Back on my sales side. Come on. There we go. Okay, cash. One thing I do want to point out, you see that because I'm not connected, there are certain things that are not available. Credit card is available and gift card is available because that is stored locally. Well, the credit card will connect through this to a device. Whereas over here, the store credit is not available because I can't go check on the store server for store credit. Over here, cash, the reason it's not, normally it would bring up the keyboard at this moment, but the reason it's not is because I'm plugged into a keyboard. So I'm going to go say he paid $70 in cash, save, and you'll see it goes and gives me the payable amount, the amount paid, and the balance due. I can then go complete. There's the actual printout. Okay, have a nice day. From here I can click print. The one thing you do have to note about this is that it will not auto print. It's not like a point of sale. It's not like a normal store point of sale where it auto prints the receipt. And that's very specific because if you are network linked through it to a printer, and one of the things it does when it prints is it opens the cash drawer, and you're on the other side of the store when you tell it to print, you're essentially going to have an unguarded cash drawer where people can just go say, hey, money, I will help myself. So that's why we don't auto print. In this particular case, I am actually going to email the receipt, and it's now going to go ask me for how to go email it. You see it actually integrates through to an email client. I'm going to go Keith. Yeah, and that's through to there. Yeah, sure, why not? Okay, and that's now gone and that's now sent it through. From here, I can then go new transaction. Oops, sorry, and I've now jumped up a bit. And here we go. So now I've just had my, and now it's probably shuffled it into other. Or probably more, it's loading the message. Okay, we'll have a look at that message in a second. Let's just go back to the POS. Here we go. So you can see over here the different sorts of transactions I can do: sales refunds, special orders, special order cancellation, lay-by, gift certificate, coupon issue, fulfillment, quotations, loyalty, and transaction previews. Can anybody tell me which transaction type is missing here? Okay, if you compare this to our, I'm actually going to go make this fairly easy for you, because if we go across to our point of sale, and we go main, and let's go to our different transaction types that we've got here. Where is that hiding now? And of course this one doesn't have that particular little button. Transaction mode, that's the one. Okay, these are the normal transaction modes at on our point of sale. Yes, I'll give you a minute so you can screenshot it. Which one is missing from here? Oh, and by the way, this is a question you'll get in your exam. Yeah, yeah, you are right. Advance payment is there. The other one is okay. Yeah, advance payment is technically missing, and you're very correct on it. The other one that is missing is sales exchange. So that one, sales exchange, does not happen in the mobile POS. The other thing you can't do with the mobile POS is you can't mix sales and refunds together like you can do in the normal point of sale over here. So you could have one line as a sale, one line as a refund. You can't do that. That's also something else you can't, that doesn't happen. But the one that you do need, but guys, this is the reason I tell people, if you're going to, when you write the exam, have the mobile POS, even if it's in demo mode, just have the mobile POS on your phone, so you can, so when they ask you that question, and they do ask questions about the mobile POS, I know I wrote some of them, you can go open it up and go say, hey, it doesn't have this option, as opposed to sitting there going, I don't know what's going on, I'm panicking, I don't know, run around and then fail. No, don't do that. Rather have it loaded, then you can go open it up and go, hey, they don't have this. Moving on to the next question. And remember, guys, open book exam, Google is your friend. Have iVend loaded as well. It's worth it. The final thing is, well, the one other thing, let's see. Okay, right. They also have the fulfillment, which I can't really show you at the moment because they don't have that. They don't have that set up by default here. You see over here, we can actually go and we do have our list of customers. And if I wanted to, I can actually, yeah, there's Edward Robinson because he's part of our standard data set. If I do click on the little blue arrow, it should actually take me through to his customer information. And from here, if he's got a phone number or a mobile phone number, I can actually click on this and I can actually call through to that device. Same thing with email. If I press the email, it'll open up my email client and I can then send him an email. As well as I've got different addresses. Beyond that as well, I can also add in certain UDFs over here. If I've got user-defined fields, I can add them in and they will come through and I can populate those. So that is also available here. I can even do quotes here if I want. Next up, preview transactions. There are certain transactions I can preview. So right there, if I want to, I can go and just see what they will look like. Okay, right. Preview recall. And there it'll tell you what's being previewed. So okay. Off on the side, I do have the menu, the traditional three-stripe menu over here. I can click that. It will then tell me I can get a dashboard if I want, transaction search, synchronize, or end-of-day settings. So that's also available over here. Well, end-of-day or settings, not end-of-day settings. So, and if I am a one-person, if this is a one-person store, one-person, one-POS store, I can do the end of day for the store from here. All right, so that is the mobile point of sale. I hope that's been interesting for you guys. And finally, I'm just going to come back over here. Let's have a look. We've done that, we've done that, we've done that. We've done loyalty. We've done a whole batch of other things. We've done setup and configuration of mobile POS. That's the implementation methodology extent report. The replication monitor is the only one I haven't shown you from here, but that's very easy to show because we go over here, go to our management console, we go to IT administration, we go to replication monitor, and here it will tell you what is due to be sent where and what the status of it is, as well as you can also have which destination it's going to. So you can actually see this is going to store 1. I hope you name your stores a bit more creatively than just store 1. But you can go say, hey, this is going to my Durbanville branch, or this is going to my Nairobi branch, or Lagos or Accra, or wherever it is. It's what's going to what information is flowing to what branch. And as well, remember from here, you can also enter in alerts that will allow you to go and that will actually allow you to, you can write alerts based on these tables that will notify you, hey, we haven't had communication from Durbanville or Somerset for the last hour. Call and find out what's going on. Of course, once you write those alerts, I would recommend that you do go and set time limits on them. So I'm pretty sure you don't want to get emailed on that at like 12 o'clock at night when the store's closed anyway. All right, but that's the replication monitor. There are a batch of other, there are actually 1 or 2 other things that I do quickly want to go through, which is through here, but I think they're actually limited for tomorrow. What I'm going to try now is I'm going to endeavor to do this again. Let's see if we can get the handouts thingy to work. Actually, what I'm just going to do is I'm just going to close it. See if it's maybe not what's causing the issue. There we go, that was what it was. So you can't have the thing open and try and send it off. So there you go, guys, congratulations, you should have the handout. That's what I'm using. And now it says it's locked, so right there, yeah, just go read only for the moment. Okay, so that's available over here. You can go and that's more or less what we're going through. I have not followed this this study plan with exact precision. As you see, I've actually jumped back to like session 4 to do the handheld iVend handheld simulator, primarily because we just didn't, primarily because at the time that wasn't running and it wasn't of relevance, I thought. That's why I did it today with the mobile POS and all the rest of it. Okay. That's over there, guys. If you guys are having issues with setting up your, with going and setting up your demo stacks, mail me. I will set up a session. Or otherwise, if you do have a question about it, ask it now. Or if there's any other questions, if there's questions about anything that I've talked about so far, anything on the week, anything coming up, please let me know. As usual, at the end of the day, I'm going to give you guys a bit of time just to go and let me know if there is anything else that you've got issues with, and I'll try and resolve it. And I do actually get a question. Yes, Willem. Okay, all right, yeah, Willem, if you don't mind, I am going to share that mail with everyone just so that we can see. Oh, okay. Before I do share that mail, I just do want to go point out that here's the receipt I sent myself from the mobile device, so you can see that there. Okay, so Willem, you sent that. iVend training. Okay, and you're getting this error. Okay. All right. First things first. Okay, all right there. So you are logged in with us and you are part of Blue Key Sador, which is fine. Okay, so when you downloaded this version, no, this isn't the demo stack version. I can see it's not the demo stack version because the demo stack version, when it loads up as it's got a slightly different load up screen. You've gone and what you've done over here is you've downloaded the this is probably iVend 6.5.5. Okay, what you need to do. Okay, so what should actually happen is you should actually get an email from, let's see, there should be one here from licenses at CityAccess. Unless I've got the wrong one over here. It's been a while since I've had to get one of these. Okay, there is actually an email that does come through. Actually, I don't think it comes through from licenses at CityAccess. You see, what happens, guys, is when I go to, let's see if this works now, is if I go through to my partner kit, and I go through, and when I download my iVend Retail Demo Stack, okay, it takes me to this page, and I click download. Okay, well, first off, it goes and it starts the download for the demo stack, which I'm not going to go complete because I've already got it. I'm just going to cancel it. But at the same time, it should also go and send me through an email for the actual, it should go send me through an email with the license associated with it. I'm not sure if that's going to come through now. Actually, let me just go and have a look over here. I might be able to find it. Just have a look. Okay, here it is. This is the one I want. You should get an email that looks something like this. Or it should look something like this. Okay, thank you and congratulations for downloading the pre-configured iVend Retail Demo Stack. What's going to happen is the first thing you need to do, Willem, is you actually need normally when you're installing the demo stack, it will do this automatically. But because what you're installing is not demo stack, you need to go along to CityAccess License Administration Tool, open that, right, and activate the license. Okay, which you'll, and the license you need to activate first. I'm not going to go through the process. I think we went through it on Monday or Tuesday last week. But you're going to use this license to activate it. Then when you come to the point of, when we get to the point where you were at with the, come on. When you get to the point that you're at here, it will accept the demo stack to take it on. Because you're part of, if you have problems, ask Bongi or Nsika. They should be able to help you with this. Okay. All right. The next question I got was, okay, are there past exams we can go through? No. That's very specifically why I've been pointing out some of the questions as we've been going through this. Guys, the reason we don't give out past exams is that we have a bank of exams that we go through. The exams evolve over time. If you guys do end up with a question that goes and says in iVend 6.4 or before iVend 6.4 or something like that, that's part of the reason that we're doing the exam together on Friday, so I can go and I can then go and have a look at your screen and you can send me what exactly it is and I can look at it and say this is fixed or well, this is an incorrect question or there is something else that goes with it or we need to go fix that or otherwise I will give you the remarks, or otherwise I will give you the points for it. That's part of the reason we're going through it on Friday together. So sorry guys, no past exams you can look at because what happens with past exams is everyone goes and looks at them and then we lose our questions. So one other thing I've just been told is please fill the form below to watch the videos. So guys, there you go. I'm just going to go copy this. And I think I had a question earlier where, no I didn't, but anyway, I'm going to just put the answer over here. Send to all. Please go log in. Please go check. Please check this works, guys. Okay, I know I've been promising it, but please check it works. All of the videos except this one should be up there today, and only this one won't be there because, well, we haven't finished it yet. So, okay. Unless there's any other questions, I'm going to go and end the session now, and we can then go and then we can go meet again tomorrow for the final session before we go into the recording session. Once again, guys, I'm going to emphasize with the exam, it's open book. It's really the exam's about communication, okay, and it's open book. Use Google, have iVend loaded. Open the help in iVend, because I will tell you right now, there are some questions that quite literally, if you took the question, put it, copy and paste it into the help and searched for it, it would give you the exact answer. So, and that's very specific. We have designed the questions like that. It's in order to get you to look at the help. And at the same, the other thing is, you guys are also free to talk amongst yourselves. Okay, so it's not like in normal exams where a teacher's going to come around and whack you over the head for passing notes in class. I encourage passing notes in class. That means that you're talking to each other, which means that you're actually going to try and find out the information for yourself. So that is all encouraged. Thanks, guys. There's the videos. Enjoy yourself. I will see you tomorrow. Have a good one. Bye.